guys, and welcome back to the 2023-24 SDPN NHL season previews. That is the last time I will ever say that. I am sad. Today is the last episode and the last day. 32 teams in now 32 days, and we have to finish ourselves off the Winnipeg Jets, a team that in ways might be even better than they were last year after making the playoffs. But are they still a playoff team? Well, watch till the end because we're going to be dissecting every part of this roster to see if it's playoffs or not. But before we get into the preview, of course, let's talk about today's sponsor in Sports Interaction. Get in on the action and make your bet with Sports Interaction. Baseball is going strong right to the very end, and you can bet on all the games, bet before the game or live and in play of all your favorite teams. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN or download the app to get started. 19 plus, and please play responsibly. Now, for the Winnipeg Jets, this offseason has been way more busy than usual, and it's really highlighted by the one trade they made when it comes to the subtractions and additions. Let's first start out with those additions and start out with Gabriel Valier, who, of course, is a big-time center they acquired. They also got Nikolaj Ehlers in that deal as a great defensive two-way forward, likely on that left wing, 36 points, 59 games this last year. You also get Rasmus Kupari, a young centerman, 23 years old, another player that's defensively sound, was drafted 20th overall back in 2018, and points-wise, has done okay. Maybe taking that next step, and we'll see. He's more likely going to be on that fourth line center spot, but still could be really interesting there. You also got on the goaltending side, bringing back Laurent Brossoit, who, of course, Stanley Cup champion with the Vegas Golden Knights, did pretty solidly in the regular season and the playoffs, and kind of like Jonas Korpisalo for the Kings. Started off greatly and then kind of trailed off, and that's when Aiden Hill took over and won the Stanley Cup for Vegas. But still, though, did pretty well in that backup role. Him being, of course, Connor Hellebuck's former backup, now back in that position. We'll see how he does. Now you go on to the subtractions, with Pierre-Luc Dubois, of course, being the big one. They got a slew of players, but gave up one big-time one with Dubois going away. But you can see 63 points in 73 games this last year. Defensively, they're not going to miss him all that much, but that offense, that pop is definitely going to be something that goes away. Same thing as well with Blake Wheeler, who defensively, a rather poor player, but turning 37 this August. I mean, this is a player that is on the older side of things. They bought him out, of course, and I think it was a decision that was bound to happen at some point. Still is a solid point producer, and they're going to miss those points, but the overall play definitely wasn't there. And also, you lose David Rich on the goaltending side of things. He goes to the LA Kings officially. Was an okay backup for the Jets this last year with a 901 save percentage, but Brossoit should replace him pretty easily. But with this Jets roster, there's three players that really come to mind that are going to be really fascinating this next year. Of course, the first one is Gabriel Valier, who we touched on earlier, but I want to delve deep into right now because he is such a fascinating player for the future of this Jets roster. At still a pretty young age, he can really immediately center that second line with great size, 6'3", 216 pounds, and with great defensive play. He was able to finally finish at an incredible rate this last year, getting 41 points in 63 games in the regular season and a solid 4 points in 5 playoff games too. He's one of the youngest players on this roster though, but is already one of the best overall players, and especially for Rick Bowness, I think he's going to love Valerie's compete, the defensive game he has, and the overall position he plays at sea. He's going to be really solid for this Jets team though, and even though I don't think we'll have as much pop offensively as Dubois, could still come pretty close. Now going on to my second player to watch, and this is another reason why the Jets could be even better than they were last year, and it's Nikolaj Ehlers, who missed pretty much half of the season last year, only playing 45 games, getting 38 points in those games, looking fantastic. But he's fully healthy now, was fantastic in the World Championships for Denmark. He's back in a big role and is one of the most efficient play producers and play pushers in the entire league. He's going to be back at that level, hopefully, for the Jets as a fantastic generator of offense. If he's back for the full season, just like with the additions of Valier and Iafallo, that offense is so much more consistent. For my third player to watch though, next up we're going to go to a player that I've loved watching a lot and had his first full solid season in the NHL last year in Dylan Samberg, who is likely to still be on that bottom pair, but is transitioning pretty nicely as this great, quiet, under-the-radar D. At 24 years old, he was drafted 43rd overall by the Jets back in 2017, but 6'4", 260 pounds, has great size, and knows where to be defensively at all times. He only got 8 points in 63 games last year, but that offense is slowly starting to develop better and better as he goes. But just that quietness, that fluidness on that defense is great, and maybe as some of those older players start to get even older, Samberg will come into a bigger role. Maybe replacing Dylan on that middle pairing, perhaps, if he has an even better season. But I think the sky is still a limit for him, and he's got a ton of potential to get even higher in that lineup. But now going on to my favorite segment where we grade the forwards, defense, and goaltending again for the last time, but It'll be fun, guys. It's been a lot of fun, guys. Let's go on to the forward group here, which is looking pretty solid. And again, with Ehlers, hopefully there for the full season. You got, of course, the additions of Valier, Iafallo, Kupari onto that depth, and it's looking pretty good. I like that middle bottom six as well, with the options in Niederreiter and Appleton, and that top six has, of course, those up-and-coming players like Perfetti and Velarde, and a lot of options to interchange with. I think this forward group is a lot more balanced than it used to be, though. You still have the pure offense guys like Connor and Scheifele. You got players like Velarde, and you got players like Iafallo to balance it out a little bit. Players like Mason Appleton that can play solid defense. Adam Lowry, of course. So it's a lot more balanced, and I do appreciate that a lot. I'm going to give the forward group an A-. Now on to the defense for the Jets, which is also pretty solid, especially with the emergence of Josh Morrissey and how good he was last year. It makes it a lot better, but I do love the underrated play of Brendan Dillon and Dylan DeMello and Dylan Samberg as well. And maybe Neil Pionk as well has a much better rebound season next year. He wasn't quite on the same level as he used to be last season, but if he gets back to that great top four offensive D level, then maybe we see the Jets improve a little bit in that aspect too. Overall, a very solid D core from top to bottom. No absolute weaknesses. But besides Josh Morrissey, nobody that's going to absolutely pop at you, but a solid defense nonetheless. I'm going to give it a straight B. Now going into the goaltending tandem, which of course we have seen in the past before with Connor Hellebuyck and Laurent Brossoit leading the way. One of the better goalie tandems in the league. Not amazing, not perfect, but still, Connor Hellebuyck is still one of the best starters out there, absolutely one of the most valuable, and Brossoit has proved to be a solid back in the past. I give the goaltending tandem a straight A. So this Jets roster actually doesn't seem all too bad, especially with like a healthy Connor Hellebuyck and how much that forward group has improved overall. This could be a Jets team that is actually pretty sneaky. And of course, getting 95 points last year, I think there are ways where this Jets team can be better. Now, I do think they kind of even out in the same general tier. I just think getting about 94 to 97 points on the season, really battling with Nashville for those wildcard spots in the Central. But I see them getting fifth right now, maybe fourth. They're able to reach that, but I think this Jets team is pretty underrated. Even if they're not going to blow you away, their team is pretty balanced and a lot more balanced than it used to be, and that's something to admire. We'll have to wait and see if that actually translates to another playoff berth for them, but again, with the additions of the depth in the forward group, the versatility that has been added onto the forward group, to me, the only big question for them will be, can Rick Bowness get the most out of that offense? With last year, I think there were times where that offense kind of took a little bit of a step back, and players like Neil Pionk as well, I mean, kind of regressed because of it. Can the offense still flourish with the versatility of the players they brought in? That might be the biggest thing. And with the players like Velarde, like Iafallo being a lot more two-way guys, that might give more versatility to Scheifele and Connor to really run free. And we'll see if that works out for them in the standings. The Central is going to be a wacky roller coaster ride, and the Jets are right in the thick of it. But I want to know in the comments down below, do you guys think the Jets can be a playoff team again? Can they repeat? Can they get back into the playoff race? Or will they miss the playoffs again? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I want to know all your predictions down below. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you guys enjoyed these season previews. 32-day teams in 32 days is now officially complete, and I appreciate all the support you guys have given me so far. Thank you so much for welcoming me onto the SDPN gang. It's been such a fun ride. Of course, editing and recording and making all these videos, all the blood and tears put into it. I hope you guys enjoyed every single one, and I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Next season is going to be an absolute blast. These season previews are just the start, and we'll see you for all of that here on SDPN. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, I've been Grav, and appreciate all of you guys for all your support. Have a great day. Drink some water for me, okay? And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.